NFL Network's James Jones thinks Cam Newton could be an upgrade for the Patriots over Tom Brady. He says it's due not only to Cam having a chip on his shoulder, but also because Brady missed a lot of throws last year that he's used to making. Adding, quote, I watched a lot of Tom last year, and I know a lot of the blame when you're playing with these superstar quarterbacks will go to wide receivers. So, Shannon, how much do you agree with this?
Where have you heard that from, Skip? Where have you heard that from, Skip Bayless?
I've heard it wrong and wrong from across the table for months now.
Everybody says that, Skip. People have been saying that. It's okay.
Okay, but again, you didn't say Cam was better than Brady. You're just saying Tom wasn't very good last year.
Right. Okay. No. I'm not saying that.
But that's what James is saying.
No, Skip. And I've said this, is that when you play with a historically great player at that position, normally the blame falls on the surrounding positions. Running back, the running game isn't very good. The receiving core isn't very good. So he gets off the hook, so to speak, as far as blame. But Tom missed throws last year. Tom was flinching in the pocket. Now, maybe his supporting cast, and I think the biggest thing was, Skip, is that Tom is not at the level where he can elevate everybody all the time now. He went to Tampa so they can elevate him, so they can carry, and that's okay, Skip. After 20 years, you know what? Hey, let me sit back and let you drive me around a little bit. That's okay. And that's what we're seeing. Skip, is he an upgrade? I mean, how do you upgrade 12-4? They did make it to what? The wild card game, so they were a wild card because they obviously they lost. But Skip, that's a high bar. And you're looking at, because I think the thing is that when you look at Tom, you always go back. He did go to 9 Super Bowls. He did win 6. But we're just evaluating 2019. And the 2019 Tom Brady was not the was not the Tom Brady that we're used to seeing. So will Cam be able to do some things that Tom wasn't able to do? Sure. Is he going to be, his improvisational skills are better? Sure. Will he be able to get out of harm's way better than Tom? Sure. But to say that he's just going to be better because he has a chip on his shoulder, Skip, I'm not willing to go there.
Really?
No.
Okay. So you're sort of 50-50 on this. Half of the equation you're good with, but the conclusion to the equation you're not good with. Okay, I want to be very clear. I like and respect James Jones. We have had him on this show, I believe you remember, right?
Yep.
He's very good on TV, and he's very wrong in his premise here. And I'm going to remind him of this as this season unfolds, because now he has thrown down the gauntlet. Nobody yet had gone so far as to sort of pit Cam Newton versus Tom Brady, and that's what he just did. This is now head-to-head, mano a mano. And by the way, Cam himself used the card-playing analogy the other day. Do you remember this when he did the YouTube interview with Odell? He said, it's like we've exchanged hands. I take your hand, you take mine, and let's see what we can do.
Right.
Well, it doesn't exactly carry out, because it's not like if Tom Brady had gone to Carolina, then you got something.
Right.
But you did take Tom Brady's hand.
Right.
And now we will see how you can play the hand that he was dealt last year. A hand that, to me, felt, I'm going to use my favorite word again, a little sabotage. I believe that last year in New England, Tom Brady had the worst supporting cast in all of pro football. That receiving core, and again, James always says, I'm going to defend receivers. He was one for, obviously, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Hey, we know what Aaron...
Yeah, okay, all right, okay, we got it. But he's going to defend receivers, and I appreciate that. But if you look at what he didn't have last year, he obviously did not have Rob Gronkowski. He did not have David Andrews, who was the captain of that offensive line at center. He had Antonio Brown for a minute. He had Josh Gordon for maybe 2 minutes, right? And then he was cut. And then he had a N'Keal Harry, who I was a big fan of coming out of Arizona State, late first-round pick, hurt in camp, missed the first 8 games, and was, dare I say, ineffective over the last 8, could not hook up with, establish any rapport with Tom Brady. How about the tight ends last year? There are a bunch of no-names, except for one, Benjamin Watson, who you know very well. He's 39 years of age and just retired. They had the worst production of any tight end unit in all of pro football. They had Mohamed Sanu. Did you love Mohamed Sanu?
No.
No, you did not, because you basically said he looks like a bust after they gave a second-round pick for him. He did have off-season ankle surgery. God bless him. Maybe he will bounce back. But he was a shell of himself last year, which brings me to another shell, Julian Edelman. Beat up, broken down, led the league in drops. Yet, despite everything I just detailed, including a defense that started out all-time hot and kind of started to lose its way down the stretch, despite all that, Tom Brady put them in position to be the 2 seed. And you don't want to hear this, and you never respond to this because there's no counter to this. But they were in position. Brady, in the final home game, regular season, Foxborough, Miami Dolphins, division rival, they were starting to come alive. They had pulled off the big upset of the Eagles, so they were dangerous. And yet Tom Brady did what he always has done for 20 years, game-winning drive. Touchdown pass to little James White, 24-20 home team with 3 minutes left. Well, this is Bill Belichick, the GOAT of at least defensive coaches. And what happened? You can't defend what happened. Fitzmagic goes 75 yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes 75 yards in 13 plays, including a 5-yard touchdown pass to Gesicki at the buzzer to pull it out 27-24. It wasn't like they just needed a field goal to tie or win. They needed a touchdown, and they got it. That cost this team the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Brady did more with less than he's ever done.
But my question is, Skip, you talking like that game cost them a playoff berth.
It cost them a week off that they desperately needed.
If Tom is that guy, they got a home game. If Tom is what you said he is, why didn't he win against the Titans?
That team was below average by the end of the year. If you gave them a week off in a home game, I would have liked their chances a lot more than running into a red-hot Titans team.
But was Miami red hot? Because you say they were coming off a big victory over the Eagles.
Were they Tennessee? The Tennessee that went to Baltimore and knocked them out of the playoffs?
Well, I guess you can say Miami was pretty good because guess what they did, Skip? They beat the Eagles, who made the playoffs, and they beat the Patriots, who made the playoffs. So they had to be feeling pretty good about themselves. And at the end of the day, Skip, that's Tom Brady. If he's what you said he is, he's got to beat Ryan Tannehill. But my question to you and a lot of others, Skip, when he had somebodies, why did you and others go out of your way to call them nobodies? You never gave Wes Welker credit. You never gave 7-Eleven, what's his name?
Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan.
Yeah.
You never gave those guys, Troy Brown and the David Pattons. You never gave them credit. Now, all of a sudden, he had nobodies. So when he had somebodies, you called them nobodies because that elevated Tom. Now he can't get it done like he once could. You want to say, oh, they were terrible. What?
You called them nobodies too.
No,
Yes, you did.
No, Skip, what I said is that you can't say just because they're not Julio, they're not top 5 receivers, they work well in that system because you got to have guys that are unselfish and say, you know what? 1 week I might catch 11, but the next 2 weeks I might catch 5 combined.
I did have respect for Wes Welker and for Amendola and ultimately for Edelman. But were any of those guys, including 7-Eleven, high draft picks? No. But they weren't draft picks.
But see, Skip, that's the thing. You look at them because Tom Brady wasn't a high draft pick.
Nope.
And he turned out to be okay.
I'd say.
Okay, then.
Okay.
So you got to look at the receivers like that.
So now I look at the receivers, and Belichick added Demir Byrd and Marquise Lee. You love that? Cam, you're going to love it. Are you? I want to know, can you take the hand you've been dealt by Bill Belichick and say, watch this, MVP?
Well, sometimes, Skip, you get dealt a hand, you just throw it back in. I ain't playing that hand. I ain't playing that hand.
Okay, I'm going to remind James Jones. Cam is coming off not 1, but 2 shoulder surgeries on the throwing shoulder. He's coming off just this past year, Liz Frank foot surgery. As you know, it's serious business.
Right.
They say he's 100% or at least 90-some%. I'm going to knock on wood for him. God bless him. But there's some X factor about, can you be that guy? Can you take the punishment? If you're at best outside the pocket, if you're at best running and throwing, but running to throw, can you take the pounding anymore that you used to take at age 31? I don't know. That's a huge question to me. And I'm going to remind you, Cam, again, if anybody can live up to stand up to this challenge, it's that man, because this Cam Newton believes in himself the way very few humans believe in themselves athletically.
Right.
But you are replacing the GOAT in Foxborough. It ain't easy. And number two in this equation, the GOAT didn't retire. Usually the GOAT's gone.
Right.
So you don't have to keep competing with, you know, it's only the ghost of the GOAT.
Well, you're going to be competing against what Tom is doing in Tampa on a weekly basis.
And clearly, he has more weapons than he had a year ago.
Yeah.
So now we'll see, right? We'll start to find out, because it's going to be Brady versus Cam. Cam got dealt, I think, a below average hand.
Right.
I'm not going to call it a bad hand, but below average. He does have